The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I even introduce myself or this webinar, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me okay. So if on the right side of your screen, you should see a control panel and you should see a question log and a chat log, and you might have to drop it down to access it. But could someone please type in there to verify that everyone can hear me? Perfect. I'm getting a lot of I can hear yous. That's what I wanted to hear. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Courtney Dennings, and I am the Volunteer Experience Specialist here at Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe during these unprecedented times. What we are going to be talking about today is how girls can bridge remotely during this time. And if you have any questions at all during the presentation, you should have the power to unmute yourself. So if you look under the attendees list, you should see your name, and next to your name, you should see an orange little microphone, and you should be able to click it and make it green. I also have the question log that a lot of you typed into up the whole presentation, so I monitor that as well. So if you have a question, you can type it in there as well, and then I will address it so the entire group can hear it. This webinar will take less than an hour, so you all can get outside and enjoy this really nice evening this spring. And yeah, without further ado, we will jump right into it. So this is the agenda of what we are going to be going over tonight. We are quickly going to do an overview of bridging just for anyone who is new to bridging or who has girls who haven't bridged before, just so you have that background knowledge about bridging. We are then going to look at adaptations for how girls can fulfill their bridging requirements remotely. We're also going to explore some options for bridging ceremonies in 2020 and how to ensure that your ceremonies are inclusive. And then we will wrap up with some resources and answer any remaining questions. But like I said, if you have a question throughout the presentation, please feel free to ask it. I don't mind being interrupted. The most important thing to me is that your question is answered to the best of my ability. So what is bridging? So bridging celebrates a girl's advancement from one program level to the next. And to earn the Bridging Award, girls must pass it on and look ahead by sharing something about their Girl Scout experience with younger scouts while also learning from older scouts. And this really creates a network of mentorship between the girls and makes their transitions even more meaningful. And in this webinar, we are going to look at how girls can teach and learn from each other remotely. Another big part of bridging are bridging ceremonies. And these are very special events meant to be designed with the girls with the guidance of the adults, of course. And bridging ceremonies just really honor the girls' achievements in Girl Scouts and gets them excited for what's to come at their next program level. So obviously this time brings some challenges to the girls obtaining their bridging awards during this time. And we've all had to pivot during this pandemic. And now is a really great time to teach our girls how to be resilient in unprecedented circumstances. We're showing them how to adapt and find unique ways to achieve their goals. And it's really important to remember that our girls are dealing with a lot right now. Their schools are closed for the rest of the year. Things they were looking forward to got canceled. And it can be especially hard for younger children to wrap their minds around what's going on. And bridging just really gives girls something special and positive to focus on and look forward to, which is something that they really need right now. So bridging can really be an outlet for our girls right now, and they can definitely still go after their bridging award during this time. They don't have to wait until this is all over. So in this section, we are going to look at some requirements for each grade level and how they can earn the Bridging Award. And we're also going to look at how those options can be adapted into a virtual and remote format. And I will say that I pulled these right out of the Bridging Guide. If you haven't seen the Bridging Guide before, you can, go into Google and just type in, like Girl Scout Bridging requirements, or it's in the volunteer toolkit as well. But it's really easily accessible online, and it outlines everything that the girls have to do for each grade level. So again, for each grade level to earn their Bridging Award, they have to complete one option under Pass It On and Look Ahead. And for this section, I pulled the options under for each grade level that I felt would be the most easily adapted into a virtual format. But you can look at the guide, and so can the girls, and if there's another option that they want to fulfill, they totally can. A lot of them are adaptable. In fact, most of them can be completed from home. So these are just some ideas. Again, they can spin it in their own ways and make it work best for them, but we just wanted to give some ideas on how the girls could go about using technology to fulfill these requirements for the Bridging Awards. So we are just going to go in chronological order. So we're going to start with the Bridge to Girl Scout Brownies Award. So one of the options for Bridging Step 1, which is Pass It On, is to teach younger girls the Girl Scout promise and to recite the Girl Scout law to them. And then it's also asking the girls to share a story about how girls put the promise and law into action. Obviously, this would ideally take place at a troop meeting where you just had, younger girls visit your troop meeting and the girls could talk to them there. We can't do that right now, unfortunately. So what you could do is organize a virtual meeting on an application like Zoom to recite the promise and law and to have the girls share their stories. If it is too challenging to get younger girls onto Zoom, I understand how that could propose a challenge. You could coordinate with the girls' caretakers and compile a video of the girls reciting the promise and law and them sharing their stories, and then you could pass that along to families of younger girls. That would also be a way to go about it. So there's just two ideas. I will just say anytime, obviously, that you are compiling a video, you just want to make sure that you have parental permission to do so from the girls who are going to be in the video. Then for Bridging Step 2, Look Ahead, an option. Oh, Allison proposed a really good question. So she asked, could they write letters to younger girls? Absolutely. Like I said, the girls can get creative with this. This is a really challenging time, but that's another great idea. The girls could make cards or something to pass along to the younger girls, and then of course their families would have to read them to them or something, but they could write letters. Absolutely. That's a form of communication, and that's a good idea. So thank you for sharing that, Allison. So then for Look Ahead, something that the Daisies would have to do is to get together with Brownies and to say the Girl Scout promise together, and then find out if the Brownie Girl Scouts have a favorite part of the Girl Scout law. Again, this is something that could take place over a virtual meeting with Brownie Girl Scouts, and the girls could connect on there. Okay. So for Bridging Step 1, Pass It On, for Bridge to Girl Scout Juniors, an option is to have girls talk to Daisies about their favorite Brownie memories and to tell Daisies what they have to look forward to by showing them pictures, talking about what skills they learned, and etc. So what you could do is you could help Brownies, put together a brief presentation containing pictures and quotes directly from the girls about what they loved about being a Girl Scout Brownie, and then you could either have the girls present their favorite memories on a virtual meeting, or you could share the PowerPoint with a Daisy troop, or you could again record their presentation and share it. There's different ways to go about it, but that's definitely an idea for something that you could do for this option for step 1. Then for look ahead, it's having the Brownies talk to one or more junior Girl Scouts who earned their Bronze Award. So learning about how they chose their product, who was on their team, what they learned, and any tips they can share. Again, this could be a virtual meeting for Brownies to learn about the Bronze Award. You could organize it with some junior girls. And the girls could also view the new Bronze Award training that we have up on our learning page, and that is housed at www.gssem.org/learning. I have a whole slide about that in a little bit, but the girls could definitely view the Bronze Award training and get background knowledge and then propose any questions that they have to juniors. And again, you can get really creative in how they go about doing that. Technology is really at our fingertips right now, so that there's a lot of different ways that they could connect. It wouldn't have to be on a virtual live meeting. So for Bridge to Girl Scout cadets, an option for Pass It On is to make a short video of girls speaking about their favorite junior Girl Scout memories and why they are excited to climb up to cadets. So this one doesn't need a whole lot of adjustments. I know ideally you would be at a troop meeting and you would just get the girls in one shot, all of them all together talking about this. But what you could do instead is have caretakers record the girls, or even the girls themselves record themselves if they do have a smartphone that is able to do so, and compile a video capturing all of their responses. And then you could share this with junior Girl Scouts. Again, anytime there is a video involved, you do just want to make sure that the girls have parental permission to participate in that. So just keep that in mind. And then for step 2, look ahead, an option for for juniors are to do some investigating to find out what the cadet journeys are, what are their themes, and which journeys interest the group the most. So this one, again, it doesn't need a whole lot of adjustment. This could be easily done from home. The girls could just research independently. Everything that they need to know about the cadet journeys are online, so they could conduct their own personal research. And then they could either, schedule a group FaceTime call, or they could have a group text messaging app or something for them to just discuss what they found and which journeys they might want to pursue as a group as cadets. So that's a way to go about satisfying that requirement. So then for Bridge to Girl Scout seniors, an option under step 1 is to inspire juniors to earn their Girl Scout Silver Award and to share the details of a project with a PowerPoint presentation and talk them through the steps of the project. So I don't know if you all have heard of the application called Google Slides. It's really amazing and it's also free. I've used it many times, but what it would do is it would allow the girls to work collaboratively on the presentation at home. And you can see live updates of what people are doing to the document, and this would be a really great way for them to work as a team on the presentation. And then again, they could set up a Zoom meeting. Zoom meetings have a function where the girls can share their screen and they could present the information virtually, or they could share a recording of their presentation with juniors. So for step 2, look ahead, an option is to connect with Girl Scout seniors who are already working on a Girl Scout Gold Award project, and they give them options for online, on the phone, or in person, and to get advice on how to choose a project. So obviously this one is very easily adapted because the girls can opt for the online or over the phone option. And as the girls are getting older and earning these bridging awards, a lot of the options already are taking place on an online format, as you will see in the next few slides. Yes, So for Bridge to Girl Scout ambassadors, something that they could do is blog about a take action project for Pass It On. And that already takes place on an online format, and the girls could just share their blog posts on social media and with younger Girl Scouts. Then for Look Ahead, it's asking the seniors to meet with ambassadors online by starting an online community and just trying to build the biggest network that they can find to find out, how other ambassadors chose their gold award projects or how they connected with mentors, and to just really learn more about the ambassador experience. So this one doesn't even need to be adopted because it's already taking place remotely and online. So for Bridge to Girl Scout Adult, which if we have anyone on this call who is bridging to Girl Scout Adult or who has a girl who is bridging to Girl Scout Adult, I just want to say congratulations. That is a huge accomplishment. But for step one, for Pass It On, something that the ambassador could do is to spend some time with seniors who are bridging to ambassadors and just share their favorite parts of the ambassador experience. And again, this can take place over a phone call, a FaceTime, or just any other virtual method that works best for the girls to connect. And then for Look Ahead, it's asking the ambassador to get together with an adult Girl Scout to learn about the endurance of the Girl Scout legacy and just what they embrace about being adults and Girl Scouts. So girls can, work with the adult Girl Scout to figure out which remote format will work best for them, but this could easily just be a phone call. It wouldn't even necessarily have to take place online. So I hope that gives you some further guidance on how you can adapt these options and the requirements for the bridging steps. Again, you can get creative, like Allison said, she thought about letters. So you really can, kind of adapt it to how it best works for your troop. The most important thing is that the option that the girls are fulfilling gets satisfied and that there is, mentorship taking place between the girls. That's the most important part of bridging, and we just don't want to lose that from the remote format. But again, those are just some ideas. Definitely let the girls take the lead on how they want to go about satisfying it and which option they want to satisfy. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of idea on how you can switch it up during this time. So now we are going to switch gears here a little bit and talk about bridging ceremonies. I know this is something a lot of people have questions about. And the answer is that your girls do have options. So hopefully you'll gain some insight as to how bridging ceremonies could pan out in 2020. So this is really exciting because I just got news about this about 2 hours ago on a call with GSUSA. So I made sure to hurry and get this in the presentation so I could share it with you all. But GSUSA, which is our national organization, is planning some bridging festivities for girls. And it's going to come in a two-part series. And the first one is a Girl Scout end of year celebration, which is going to be like a more fun type of thing. And this is going to be taking place at the end of June. The tentative date is Saturday, June 20th. So just make sure you kind of take note of that. And more details will be released as we get closer, and a confirmed date will also be announced. But it sounds like this is going to be taking place over Instagram. So it is going to be a virtual event and everyone is invited. And it's just a way for the girls to celebrate the current year's accomplishments and to also have fun. And again, they're going to be releasing more details soon, including host and special performances. So we don't have all the details yet, but it sounds like it's going to be pretty fun. And I think girls can really use that right now. So definitely put that on their calendars. And we just found out, if you didn't know, National Bridging Week was supposed to be taking place May 4th through the 11th, so it was supposed to be coming up pretty soon. It is now being officially moved to August 1st through the 8th. Just given what's going on, they felt that was a better fit time for National Bridging Week to take place so that more people can participate. But GSUSA is putting together a series of virtual events for those who are bridging. It could be a bridging ceremony. I think it might be a lot of other stuff too, but this would be really cool for girls to participate in, especially because it's going to be a national event. So this could be a really great opportunity for your girls to connect with other Girl Scouts across the country, and for girls to really get the sense that they are part of a national organization. So that's what I have from GSUSA. Once we have more details, we will be releasing the information in leaders and on our social medias, and there will be communication about that, so definitely stay tuned. But we just did want to make you aware that GSUSA is working on something for girls to participate in. So, this is definitely an option for a bridging ceremony. So another option, which, is probably pretty obvious given the kind of tone of this webinar about going virtual, is to host a virtual bridging ceremony. And this is totally okay to do if your girls want to have a virtual ceremony. And we know it doesn't compare to an in-person gathering, but it is something special for the girls to look forward to during this time. And you and the girls can really get creative in your execution of this, but just one idea is to make a nice PowerPoint presentation to honor the girls who are bridging this year. And then you could hold a virtual meeting and present it to the girls and their families. If you're unable to meet live, you could also make a video with pictures and quotes directly from the girls about their accomplishments in Girl Scouts and why they're excited to keep going. Again, there's a lot of room to get creative with this, and this is definitely an option in 2020. So another obvious option is to postpone your bridging ceremony when it's safe to meet in person again. Hopefully that'll be in the summer or fall, but right now we just don't know what the future looks like. But I will say, if you are going to wait until it's safe and that you're going to hold an in-person bridging ceremony, definitely make sure that you invite the girls' families and friends, which you should have done anyways, but also make sure you are inviting their teachers. A lot of kids and teachers didn't get closure with the school year ending abruptly. They didn't get to say the usual goodbye and have those end of year celebrations that they normally get to with their teachers. So that could be really meaningful for the girls to have their teachers present at the bridging ceremony. And having a bridging ceremony when this is all over will be not only a great way to celebrate their Girl Scout accomplishments, but it's also a way to celebrate their resilience through this time. It can be a great way to get everyone back together once it's safe to do so. So, this bridging ceremony would be especially special after everything that has been taking place. So here are just some things to consider as you are navigating, the girls bridging and what will work best in terms of a bridging ceremony for your troop. The first question to ask yourself and the girls are, how do they want to bridge? Really let the girls take the lead on this. Girl Scouts is girl-led. I'm sure you've heard this many times, but we cannot stress that enough, is that girls really need to be taking the lead on what they are doing in Girl Scouts. So if your girls want to pursue the bridging award from a remote format, let them do so. Support them in doing that. If they want to have a virtual bridging ceremony and it works for everyone in the troop, then it's okay to have it. So definitely just kind of gauge the girls and where they are with this, and then that should, answer how your troop should go about pursuing bridging during this time. Another really important question to ask yourself is if a virtual format will work for your troop. So we are so lucky that our council geographic area covers the most diverse part of Michigan, which is the biggest strength of our council. And with diversity comes differences in socioeconomic status. It comes with differences in where people live. We have some people in really rural areas. We have some people in suburban areas. So not everyone in our council has equal access to internet and technology. So definitely make sure that if you are going to pursue virtual, that it works for everyone in your troop. And, if you have a girl who is bridging and she doesn't have access to technology, you probably shouldn't be holding a virtual bridging ceremony. I think, kids are already facing so much disappointment as it is. You don't want to further isolate a girl because she doesn't have access to the technology. So definitely keep that in mind as you are going about pursuing things in a virtual format. Another thing to consider is any girls with disabilities and if a virtual format would be engaging for them. If you're unsure, it is totally okay to have this conversation with the girl and her caretakers and to decide what is going to work best for her. But you definitely want to make sure that if it takes place on a virtual format, that any girls with disabilities aren't left behind in doing so. So you might have to get creative in how you go about that, but definitely work with the families on that. You just really want to make sure that a virtual format will be an inclusive experience for all girls and families. Just as much as Girl Scouts is a girl-led organization, we are also an inclusive organization. So please keep that in mind as we are navigating this new virtual way of life. So now we are going to go over some safety related to meeting virtually and also some resources that I think will be helpful to you during this time. So just in terms of virtual safety, as I mentioned, as I was going through the different bridging steps and how they can be adapted, there are so many virtual tools available for us. I mean, I could have an entire presentation going over the different virtual applications, and there's really just an endless amount. With that being said, you really want to make sure that you research the virtual platform before selecting and implementing it. Talk to your girls. A lot of girls are virtually connected and already have apps that they're using that works for them. So it's always best to kind of meet them where they're at, and they probably can provide a lot of insight on virtual platforms that they could be using and that your troop could be using as well. Another thing is to make sure that you keep your meetings private, which means that you are inviting people individually. So if you post like a link to a Zoom meeting on your Facebook, just as a status, anyone who has access to that link can just join your meeting. So you definitely don't want to post the link publicly. You want to invite people individually, either through like a text message or an email. Just make sure that the only people who have the link are people who are supposed to be on the meeting. And then even in a virtual format, we are still expecting our troops to adhere to the 2 unrelated volunteer rules. So please make sure that's also being fulfilled as you're meeting virtually. And then if you look on your control panel, which should be on the right side of your screen, it might be collapsed and you might have to press a little orange arrow to expand it. There is a handout section, and within that handout section is a handout to our new safety activity checkpoint for virtual troop meetings. So please feel free to download that and save it for your reference. The safety activity checkpoint goes over not only how to keep girls safe online, but it also has tips for successful virtual troop meetings and even goes more in depth about the different platforms available So I think it'll be very helpful to you, and that will be going live on our website very soon. But in the meantime, please feel free to download it and share it with whoever you think it would be helpful to. So here are just some ideas for free virtual tools. This is not the entire list by any means. Like I said, there are so many that we don't even know exist. But a fan favorite, especially I think with all organizations, but I've noticed especially in Girl Scouts, is Zoom. I've heard this works really well for troop meetings, and it's really great for large groups, and it has a screen sharing function, which is how I'm showing you all this presentation right now. So that would be really great if your girls did want to do a live presentation. They could definitely use Zoom to do so. The only limitation with Zoom is that there is a 40-minute time limit on the free version, so just keep that in mind as you are scheduling things on Zoom. Other virtual tools include like Facebook Live, FaceTime, Google Hangouts, Skype, WhatsApp, text messaging, all these different ways for us to communicate from home. Those are also ways that the girls could go about fulfilling their bridging requirements remotely. And all of these listed allow for video calling. And again, they're just really great for girls who are passing it on and looking ahead. So here are some virtual tools that should be helpful to you during this time. So if you didn't know, I mentioned this earlier, but we do have a learning page, and that is www.gssem.org/learning. Within there are a ton of trainings. One in particular that you might find really helpful during this time is my colleague put together a presentation, just like the one I'm doing now, on virtual Girl Scouting. And she recorded it, so it is up on the learning page, and it's in 2 parts, so you can go and view it there. There's also a bridging ceremonies short and snappy, and what a short and snappy is it's a condensed training that lasts about 10 to 15 minutes that focuses on one topic. So we have one that's all about bridging ceremonies. If you're brand new to bridging and kind of want to know more about how they work, you can definitely reference that. And then I also mentioned how we have a bronze award training, but we also have trainings for the silver and gold awards as well, and those are up there as well for the girls to view. If you weren't aware too, we did have a virtual page go live, and that is housed at www.gssem.org/virtual. It's on our Girl Talk blog, and on there it just has the different like at-home program, things that our wonderful program department came up with, like the different patch programs, the Go at Home Outdoor Challenge, stuff like that. And it also has resources on there. And then if while you were watching this, you were like, yeah, the idea of going virtual sounds nice, but I have no idea how to set a virtual meeting up. Luckily for you, we have a Setting Up Virtual Meetings webinar taking place this Thursday at 7 p.m. You can register at www.gssem.org/calendar. And what that webinar is going to go over, it's going to cover how to run a successful troop meeting virtually. And it's also going to do a live demo on Zoom on how you would set up a Zoom meeting for your girls. So definitely tap into that if you feel it would be helpful. If you can't make the live meeting, it will be recorded and posted on our website for you to view after. Same with this presentation. Yeah, so Allison just asked if there's a place where we can see this presentation again. Yes, it's going to be recorded and it will be in a video format on our learning page within the next week, hopefully. So you will be able to come back to this if you need to. Okay, so I will stick around for any questions. I do just want to say thank you so much for being on this webinar. It just goes to show that you're really dedicated to keeping our girls engaged during this time, which, our volunteers, you guys just really go above and beyond for our girls, and it's truly amazing. And I'm just so fortunate to be working alongside all of you to deliver this experience to girls. So please be proud of yourselves. Please take care of yourselves during this time as well. And, you're just all in our thoughts, and we're really fortunate to have you all with us. But if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask either through the question log, or you can talk to me if you want to unmute yourself. But if you don't, please feel free to exit the webinar and have a great night.